Hello everybody, my name is Alan and welcome to Crimicide, the show where we unravel the truth of the world's biggest mysteries. Today's episode touches on one of those pretty big mysteries that have been around for quite a few decades. And I think everybody's heard of it at least once, but not very many people know the true story behind it. And with that, let's get into today's episode. The Solway Firth Spaceman. Ever since the military converged on a mysterious crash in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947, extraterrestrials have been a very hot topic in conspiracy circles ever since. And whether you believe them or not, even I must admit that some stories of extraterrestrials or UFOs just aren't explainable. And while technically the subject of today's video is still unsolved, there is very substantial evidence that it's not as otherworldly as ufologists would have you believe. On May 23rd, 1964, Jim Templeton took his daughters, 5-year-old Elizabeth Templeton and 9-year-old Frances Templeton, as well as his wife Annie Templeton, to Solway, Firth to relax and have a family picnic. It was another beautiful, sunny day, and nothing seemed to be out of the ordinary, save for one thing noted by Templeton. On this day, he claimed the cows and sheep were behaving abnormally, huddled and seemingly frightened of something unseen. Templeton decided to take no notice, however, and pulled out his Kodak SLR camera to take this photo of his daughter, Elizabeth, playing in her new dress. A few days after the fun-filled day on the Firth, Jim Templeton took his negatives to the chemist to get them developed. When he got the developed photos, he stared, puzzled at this finished product. Jim had taken 3 photos, and one of the 3 showed what looked like a man clad in a spacesuit standing in the background. The strangest part, Templeton noted, was this spaceman only showed in the middle photo of the 3 he took of his daughter. He questioned his family, and all of them said they were not the ones in the photo. Curious for answers, he sent the photo to the police as well as to Kodak for examination. Kodak examined the photos extensively and sent them back, saying there was no sign of tampering or faulty film stock. This means that whatever was in the photo was present when the photos were being taken. They were genuine. Kodak was so sure they were genuine, and so curious on how it could have been taken, they offered a lifetime supply of film to whoever could prove that they were faked. Nobody has gotten the prize to this day. As it is with all unusual stories, the media eventually got wind of this strange photograph. Headlines of an alien sighted in an area hot with UFO activity gripped the area and eventually the world. Locals believed it had something to do with the nuclear power plant in the area. Others spoke of UFOs they had seen while fishing. All of these events came to a head when Jim Templeton had a visit at work. 2 men wearing black suits pulled up to him in a black, unmarked Jaguar. They bombarded Templeton with questions about the encounter, and when Templeton asked them who they were and who they worked for, they only referred to themselves by numbers and claimed they worked for Her Majesty's government. They requested Templeton go with them to the location of the incident. Obliging, Templeton got into the dark Jaguar and went back to the Solway Firth. Upon arriving, Templeton recounted the events and even noted the unusual behavior of the animals at the time. Upon finishing his story, the men in black had kept insisting Templeton confess that he had only caught a normal person in the photo, to which Templeton denied seeing anybody. The men in black then started getting angry and impatient, even asking Templeton the unsettling and unusual question, "Where did you see the second spaceman?" This caught Templeton off guard. Upon saying there was no second spaceman, these men in black were enraged and stormed off in their Jaguar, leaving Templeton to walk 5 miles back to his work by himself. After this encounter, he had sent the other negatives of the photos he took to Kodak, only to be met with a message later stating that some of the negatives mysteriously went missing. He eventually would conclude that it was the government confiscating them, causing some to be even more firm that the spaceman was a genuine extraterrestrial. Sometime later, a Cumberland newspaper editor requested the negatives from Templeton, having thought it had something to do with a similar sighting occurring during a rocket launch, which was halted by what eyewitnesses claim was 2 men clad in spacesuits on the launch pad. Putting 2 and 2 together, Templeton had figured that the men in black that interrogated him knew of this incident and thought Templeton may have seen both spacemen from the interrupted rocket launch. The story then takes us to California, telling of more similar entities interfering at yet another rocket launch. But for the sake of our story, we have the information we need. Now clearly, Templeton did in fact take a photo of something that, at first glance, seems a little unusual, and, dare I say it, otherworldly. But like most stories the media gets their hands on, this one has almost certainly been embellished upon and made to be much more extraordinary. And while officially this case remains unsolved, there's been enough speculation and picking apart of the image and the story behind it to reveal much more factual conclusions than extraterrestrials. So let's get into what really was captured on the Solway Firth that day. Before we get into the truth behind the Solway Firth Spaceman, I'd like to let you all know about the incoming alien invasion. They're going to take over the world. They're going to probe us all. But there is one thing you can do. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell all your loved ones that you don't want to see probed to subscribe to Crimicide. It's a proven fact that if we get to 1,000 subscribers, the aliens will see our mighty forces in retreat. So in order to protect yourself from the alien overlords, get as many people as you can to subscribe to this channel. It's science. It works. And with that, let's get into the true story of the Solway Firth Spaceman. Although the remaining Templeton family are firm in their belief that the photo is of an extraterrestrial, I won't beat around the bush. This isn't a spaceman, and there are a few theories that could prove that it isn't. The more skeptical people in the world, such as myself, admit that the image is unusual in many ways. However, it's all easily explained. Some have posited the idea of the person in the background being a beekeeper in their whole outfit. Others claim it was staged by the Templeton family for publicity. However, in 2014, BBC journalist David Clarke seemingly solved this decades-old mystery. His findings indicate that the so-called Spaceman is simply Annie Templeton standing in the background with her back to the camera. The white outfit can be explained away by her blue dress appearing white due to overexposure. While Clarke's explanation has gone unchallenged by the rest of the world and accepted, I've taken the liberty of doing my own in-depth investigation of the photo using my own experience as a failed photographer and wrote up some of my own conclusions. Looking at the photo, it would seem to be a person wearing a spacesuit at quick glance. However, if we zoom into the so-called spaceman and examine it more closely, we can see a clearly defined side profile of a person's face. A well-defined nose, chin, and even a mouth can be seen upon closer investigation. That simply leaves the rest of the head, which would appear to be a white helmet. This can be explained away by the sun's reflection off the subject's hair, and due to the aforementioned overexposure, gives the hair the appearance of being white in color. Zooming back out to the picture as a whole, you can see the sun is at such an angle to make such a thing possible based on the shadows and light reflected on Elizabeth's face. Based on the evidence brought up by Clarke, the rest of Annie's outfit is easily explained away by her back being to the camera and her dress appearing white due to overexposure while she looks off to something to the side. While we may not know the full story of the incident with the two spacemen during the rocket test, nor Templeton's supposed visit from the Men in Black, we can be reasonably certain that there is nothing otherworldly happening in this photograph. Ever since that fateful incident in Roswell, mankind has been asking themselves the burning questions: are we alone in the universe? And if not, have they visited us? And while I can't answer these questions, I can confidently say that this picture, and perhaps others like it, succeed in stimulating our imaginations rather than giving us the answers we seek, though they are fun to pick apart nonetheless. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the true story behind the Solway Firth Spaceman. It's been a mystery that I've been interested in for several years now. Haven't really looked into it until recently, just finding out about all this. I thought it'd make it for a really good episode, and I decided to roll with it. And I gotta be honest, it's a lot more well-known than the subject this episode was going to be about. It was such a boring thing that I didn't even start the script yet. Maybe someday, though. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for next week, because we're going to have a special Reddit video, 8 paranormal stories. I'm really just going off the rails there in celebration of Crimicide Paranormal coming out this summer. I thought it'd be a little fun thing to do, to have just a series special. So yeah, subscribe and ring the notification bell to be informed when that's coming out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.